I'm just a girl in the... No.
Wait, is that me? Am I just a girl in the world?
You're definitely not a girl in the world. But you know who is a girl in this world? Well, sort of in this world, in this universe.
Yeah, who's out of this world?
Captain Marvel. And for International Women's Day weekend, we're talking all about her.
Spoilers ahead.
Boom.
Hi, I'm Joe.
And I'm Lauren.
And we are
the NeuroNerds.
Yes, that was on time.
I feel pretty good about that.
NeuroNerds.
News alert.
The NeuroNerds are now part of the Gonna Geek Podcast Network.
Gonna Geek is a site for geeks by geeks, so these two geeks are excited to be part of it.
Yay! We are expanding the NeuroNerds universe.
Yeah, that's right. This is our NeuroGeek expansion, and Gonna Geek is now NeuroNerd adjacent. It's all connected.
We're excited to share our podcast with the Gonna Geek community, as well as share the podcast of Gonna Geek with our NeuroNerds as well. That's you. You can find podcasts about anything geeky, from comics to tech news, gaming, sci-fi, nerdy pop culture, and more.
Look out for NeuroGeek crossovers and features in the future. We're really looking forward to featuring their podcasts and hosts on our show and vice versa.
So look out for that, and make sure to go check out all the cool podcasts on the Gonna Geek Network by going to GonnaGeek.com, especially the Gonna Geek Show, hosted by Stephen Jondrew, Chris Farrell, and Stargate Pioneer. They broadcast live on Mondays at 5:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time at geeks.live.
So the NeuroNerds and Gonna Geek, assemble!
NeuroNerds.
All right, guys. Hello. We are back.
Hey, Lauren, you sound different.
I know. I did a voice change. Maybe not. It's Felice. I'm co-hosting with Joe today.
Yeah, because Lauren wasn't able to see Captain Marvel on the night before it actually comes out. Because, all right, movies come out like on Friday. But a lot of people don't know you can watch the movie on Thursday.
Let's be honest. The new release date really is Thursday. Everybody knows. Everybody goes.
And not everybody goes. The theater wasn't even packed.
No, that's because we went to a theater that looked like we were in 1995.
That's very true.
The year that Captain Marvel
not super
took place.
thrilled. And so I always go see these movies on like Dolby Atmos sound. And they've got to be like, IMAX, if it's IMAX. We trusted a really good friend of ours, and he was like, oh no, it's this dope theater, like they just like refix it up and it's gonna be great. And I was like, all right, cool. Apparently, seeing as how Captain Marvel took place in the 90s, we went to see it in a theater that was built in the 90s and
updated.
Still functions like it's a 90s theater, which was kind of cool.
Yeah, it was kind of cool.
But it was weird. That being said, I can't wait to go see it in a Dolby Atmos room.
Right.
For real. Because like the sound, you know what it wasn't even just the visuals. Because like visuals are dope. It just looked like you were watching, those old school butt TVs. And then like you watch that and it's like, oh, and then you watch like a flat screen TV. You're like, oh yeah, that's what it's supposed to look like. So it kind of felt like I was in the 90s watching a movie on a butt TV. It was just the sound, like the outer space stuff. Like I expected it to be like really big and boomy, and it wasn't. So we will be giving some spoilerific takes on Captain Marvel because we went to see it and it was awesome. And Felice is sitting in for Lauren because again, Lauren, the busiest human being in the world.
And she didn't see it yet.
She hasn't seen it yet.
So I did see it.
So spoilers ahead for everybody who hasn't seen it. And by the way, if you guys are listening to the NeuroNerds, you guys should have seen this already. You guys know we're going to talk about it. So spoilers ahead.
Well, okay. So before we get into Captain Marvel, non-spoiler.
When you realize she's been dead the entire time.
No.
This isn't M. Night Shyamalan. My bad.
Non-spoiler stuff. If you just want to hear a little bit of the episode before we go into deep spoilers, I want to get into some exciting news for the NeuroNerds. We just joined the Gonna Geek Podcast Network.
Gasp and awe. That's right. The NeuroNerds and the Gonna Geek guys together at last.
So it's really exciting. We are going to be listed amongst a bunch of other really cool podcasts that are all about geek and nerd and comic book and
hey, that kind of sounds like
culture,
us.
Video gaming. You can check out the Gonna Geek Network at GonnaGeek.com. Check out all the cool podcasts that they have.
Yeah, check out Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. That's actually, it's really cool. It's really funny. It's really informative.
And their host, her name is also Lauren.
Gasp in awe yet again.
It's like an alternate reality, sort of, maybe not. So anyway, we're really, really excited about this. And it's just, cool to be part of a community. And you'll be seeing us featuring a lot of their episodes on our episodes and us getting featured on their episodes. When I say their, I mean all their podcasts. And, just expanding the NeuroNerds universe.
NeuroNerds and the Gonna Geek guys, one big happy family.
The Gonna Geek Podcast Network. Boom. I'm taking your booms this episode, by the way.
I'm all right with that.
So we wanted to just really quick, highlight some of the strokes that have been popping up.
So this is crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. It's been strange because, again, I've said this several times. I didn't really know what a stroke was until I had my stroke. And now, I found out there's this beautiful, amazing community, and you guys are part of it. And I love each and every one of you guys. It's the most loving, caring, beautiful community out there. I also found out that there's a ton of celebrities and athletes and famous people who have had strokes.
Yeah.
Sharon Stone, Michael Johnson, the Olympic fastest man in the world. So what's crazy is over the past 2 weeks, there's been 3 major strokes, which is crazy. Starting with Luke Perry from 90210. I never watched it, even though I'm a 90s kid, but I know of it and him because I'm a 90s kid. So that was crazy. Luke Perry, actually, not only did he have a major, massive stroke, he passed away.
Rest in peace.
Oh my gosh, that was that was a shock. What's crazy to me is it came out of nowhere. Not that I think about Luke Perry frequently. He was 52 years old, which is young, I guess, for a stroke survivor. People, 52 years.
Yeah, that's very young.
Also, he looked amazing. Whatever he was eating, I wanted to eat whatever he's eating. I'll have what he's having. He looked amazing. He looked like he was in great shape. He was on Riverdale. Apparently, I haven't watched Riverdale.
He was the dad of Archie, I think it was. Yeah.
Cole Sprouse, I guess, one of the twins. So I don't know much about the show, but apparently, it's a big show. People liked it. So that was weird. So what's crazy, he had his massive stroke. And from what I was reading, I think it was a blood clot in his thigh that worked his way up. I'm not 100% sure. Google, do your research. Clearly, I haven't. Sharon Stone came out, who was another stroke survivor. And she had the same type of stroke I had. She had a hemorrhagic stroke. She had a brain bleed. Was bleeding for over a week. She had to relearn how to see, how to swallow, how to hear, all kinds of stuff. She came out and she gave the most motivating, you can come back from this 100% and, be strong. And I did this. And it was really, really cool that she stepped up for our community and be like, hey, man, don't worry about it. You're going to be able to make this back.
Yeah.
And 2 days later, he passed. I was in shock.
Me too. I was rooting. I was like, yeah, that's right. He's going to come back from this. It's going to be okay. And I really thought he was going to make it through. And it's just a testament to it can happen to anyone. And you have to really, really, really just be on top of, your checkups going in. I mean, I don't know all the details. Again, you said it was a blood clot in his leg. So I don't know. I don't know his situation.
Don't take that as gospel. Joe had a brain injury.
Right.
So yeah, it's crazy because again, I don't know, celebrities, they're just people. They are just people, because they're on TV or they play certain characters, but they're just regular folk. And this stuff happens to everyone. Their strokes do not discriminate. Brain injuries do not discriminate. Right. Doesn't matter who you are or where you're from. You have to look for the telltale signs. You have to get checked up. You have to take care of yourself.
Right.
You do. Now, I don't know if he knew about this. I don't know if he just didn't take care of himself. If it came out of nowhere. I don't know this stuff, but 80% of all strokes are preventable, and that's a huge number. Mine was 100% preventable.
Yes,
it was just 100%.
High blood pressure induced. You can prevent that. You can be on medication to regulate that.
That's verified from this woman over here. She knows, it was 100% my fault. It was my idiocy that almost killed me, So anybody out there just that's listening, go get yourself checked up just to make sure. A lot of people say the same thing, and I keep hearing it. I was that way, where it's well, I don't want to go to the doctor. They're going to tell me something bad. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. That's the dumbest thing. So you can go to the doctor. They can tell you something bad, and then you fix said bad thing. Or you can not go. You can almost die, like me. Not a good thing. It's really, really not a good thing.
Just go to the doctor, guys.
So on top of Luke Perry, I think it was a few days prior, it was right around the same time that MMA legend Mirko Cro Cop also had a stroke, and he had to retire from mixed martial arts. Now, I'm a big fan of mixed martial arts because I think it's,
Me too.
I think it's really cool.
I did Taekwondo, so I'm a big fan.
Yeah, no, but like
Martial
I'm talking
arts in
about like
general.
really like beating people in the face.
Oh, are you saying that Taekwondo is not really martial arts?
I'm saying it is.
There's a
but
lot of people
You
that would
told
disagree.
me about like your training, and you're like, yeah, they weren't
Lauren
allowed.
would kick you in the face right
No,
now.
she's kicked me in the knee several times. So like, but yeah, so Mirko Cro Cop, the most legendary left kick in the history of MMA. Like he described his kicks as right kick hospital, left kick cemetery. That's actually true. Like he is vicious. So he just had a stroke and he has to retire. He retired from MMA. Not that
that's so sad.
he probably should have because he's
How
older
old
in
is he?
years. 43.
That's a long time.
It is. It
and
is.
I would imagine that he probably.
Oh, he's been knocked out several
I was going to say he's probably suffered TBIs as well.
Oh,
right?
I'm
maybe,
sure.
Yeah,
I'm
CT,
sure.
maybe like, you know.
Well, I don't know. I
he's probably gotten
think
hit
everybody who's been hit that
many
often
times,
has
yeah.
something, but he's smart enough to know that he can never take another hit to the head again.
Yeah.
And he came out and he said it. We also have like Michael Johnson, the fastest man in the world. I don't know if you remember Michael Johnson.
Of course, I remember Michael Johnson.
I remember him because of the gold shoes.
Yes.
Those were like super
Gold
dope.
medalist, fastest man in the world for a while.
Gold shoeist too.
Yeah.
And
Olympic gold medalist.
Montel Williams too. Like at the end of last year, Montel Williams I think he had a hemorrhagic stroke.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Oh, my
yeah.
goodness.
My memory of Montel Williams, I went to a premiere for, I think it was like the movie 54. Again, I'm a 90s kid. And he was going in and people were like, oh, it's Montel Williams. He was like, and somebody was yelling, oh, Montel. And he turned around and he waved and they're like, Jerry Springer rules. And that was it.
You said that?
No.
Oh.
I'm not, like, I'm a
like,
jerk,
that's so
but I'm not like,
disrespectful.
I'm a jerk, but I'm not like a jerk. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
man.
So
how's Montel Williams doing now?
He's better. Like he's on the mend. What's sad is like a lot of these people they have strokes and
It's hard to come back.
It is. It's very hard to come back, especially to get where you used to be or even past. Where I like to think I'm past where I used to be. But it's a shock when somebody passes.
Right.
You know, it's just a lot.
Yeah.
Especially, you know, and I don't know who Luke Perry is, but I felt like I knew Luke Perry because he's Luke Perry. He's a good-looking guy who kind of vaguely looked like James Dean, and who vaguely always kind of looked like he was squinting at something. You know what I mean? It's like that sultry like dude look. It's like you looking at
Mark Hamill did put up a great post on his Instagram right after Luke Perry passed away, a video of Luke Perry talking about how when he was younger, saying that he didn't want to live his life and just like be a celebrity and not make any impact. He wants to make a difference in his life. And it just makes you, you know, really think about that in your own life, that, you know, life is precious. Life is short. Even if you live a very long life, it can pass by really fast. So
right.
you want to really live it up.
What is it? If you don't stop and take a look every once in a while, it might just pass you by.
Yes.
In the immortal words of Ferris Bueller.
And
I think I butchered that, but no, I feel the same way. And it sadly, it took me having a stroke and almost dying to actually feel that way. You know, a lot of people, like, I hope, are out there that are listening to this or just seeing all this crazy stuff that's going on and realize, hey, I want to make an impact now, and I want to take care of myself, and I want to take care of the people. So, don't let almost dying be the catalyst for you, like, truly living and helping yourself and others. You know, just do it. Be like Nike.
If you're one of our listeners who's just into nerd pop culture and you're hearing this and you haven't had a stroke or a brain injury, heed his words.
Yes.
Take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Don't become part of this club.
No.
Sometimes it's unavoidable, but you know, if you're part of the 80,
if you're part of the 80% that can like not be part of this, that's more power to you. Be like the NeuroNerd adjacent. You know, just be the nerd.
Be a nerd.
Yeah.
So speaking of nerd, let's get into some nerd.
That was it wasn't too heavy because, you know, we try to keep it a little bit light because, you know, life's heavy enough. But yeah, we'll go straight nerd now into spoiler territory because we saw Captain Marvel.
And Captain Marvel is also a brain injury survivor.
She is. She's part of our community. She had a brain lesion.
She did. She had a brain lesion. And you know what? I have some fun facts about her brain condition. Apparently,
fun's just debatable. They're facts, yes.
Apparently, she suffered this brain damage in psych magnetron.
That's how she got her power.
Yeah.
So the psych magnetron exploded, and it infused her with Kree DNA. So she's like basically half human, half Kree.
and it gave her a split personality between Carol and Ms. Marvel.
Nah, see, that's
Is that
I don't
sometimes
like.
in-
Yeah. No,
Okay.
so again, comic books are comic books. There's like a million different origins and stuff. So
So the comic books say that she becomes Ms. Marvel when she blacks out, but that's not how it was in the movie at all.
no. Well, yeah, the movie is its own thing. It's deviated from everything. It's like its own thing.
So her brain injury actually is affected by her powers. I don't know if I know that this wasn't, they didn't get it too deep in, they didn't talk about it at all in the movie, but apparently like the brain lesions that she has, they threaten to destroy her memories when she flies. Do you remember that at all from the
I
comic?
don't actually.
Yeah.
I don't. Again, these are like when you talk about like Captain Marvel, when you talk about Captain America, well, I guess all the captains, when you talk about any of these people, they have so many different comics and there's so many different origin stories and there's so many different, deviations from like the original a story that there's some that you hold on to and there's some that you're like, yeah, I just kind of want to bury and don't remember that one. Or there's some that I've never even heard of, I think that's weird. It's like, oh yeah, every time you fly, you're just gonna kind of forget who you were as a person. It sucks.
Maybe it's the pressure from going up higher affects her brain. And I'm making this up right now. But apparently like her brain, like in another comic, it says that she suffered brain damage and lost a lot of her memories when she flew into orbit to save New York from the Kree enemy Jan Rog.
Yeah, Jan Rog. That's the Jude Law character.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Everybody thought
was going to be.
Here we go.
Spoiler alert.
We're coming with some
Spoiler
spoilers right now. And, I'll poke some issues I have because I have a few. But it was a dope movie. Overall dope movie. Let me like state that first.
Girl
okay?
power.
Definitely.
Shout out to International Women's Day yesterday.
Definitely girl power. But so here issues ensue. So I thought when I first saw a picture of Jude Law, I was like, oh, he's going to be Captain Marvel or he's going to be Marvel. So everybody whoever doesn't know, which is like normal people, Marvel is the Kree dude that trained Carol Danvers to be like this dope ass warrior. Like he kind of like helped her with her powers. And she was so like thankful for Marvel. So when Marvel died and then she was like, oh, to honor him, I'm going to give myself the name Captain Marvel. So I was like, oh, clearly Jude Law, he's training her. He's like kicking her in the face and stuff. Like, he's Captain Marvel. He's not.
Nope. They tricked us.
He's Jan Rog. Jan Rog, kind of a dick. So Jan Rog is like a villain, right? So, but then you're like, oh, but Jude Law was like training her. Was he training her? Or was he secretly being a dick?
Or was he secretly controlling her, trying to keep her badass woman powers down?
Yeah, so spoiler, secretly a dick. But I actually really liked his character. I thought he was really, really cool. So here's the twist. Marvel is in the movie. Really weird thing. I was so anti when it first happened. I was like, you know what? Sucks. I hate it. I'm done. And then like 5 minutes later, I was like, all right, it's kind of cool, I guess. And then like half hour later, I was like, I'm 100% in. So the Supreme Intelligence is like the Supreme Intelligence for the Kree. In the comic books and in the cartoons and stuff, it's just like a big blobby brain thing. It's weird. It's ugly. It's kind of looks like Krang from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You know, like the brain and the stomach of the robot dude. So it's just a giant version of that. It's like, think Krang and what's the dude from the Power Rangers? Zordon.
Boom! Yes.
Oh my God. Joe can remember things. So just think Krang and Zordon had a kid. That's what the Supreme Intelligence would look like. So the Supreme Intelligence in this is takes the form of whatever you admire like the most. So like she goes in and she's like talking to the Supreme Intelligence and it's like
Annette Bening.
Oh shit, it's Annette Bening.
Yeah.
I get it. Like it's cool. But then it's like, well, who is Annette Bening? So then, as she's like trying to get her memories back, which is kind of like me because I have short-term memory loss. So it's kind of like she's getting her memories back. And then it's like, oh, well, she's somebody that she used to work with in the Air Force. And it's like, oh, she's this person and she's secretly a Kree. Gasp and
but
awe.
Good Kree.
She is. So like she's like a dope Kree and she's like trying to help people and she's like doing the stuff and she's experimenting with, spoiler, the Tesseract. So she's
they brought everything together.
Everything came together. And
because
so
if you were ever wondering, like in the past, like how did S.H.I.E.L.D. get the Tesseract?
Yeah.
They never explained it.
So they plug that hole 10 years later.
Yeah.
Like they fill in that blank.
Yeah.
So she was working with her and then there's like all kinds of stuff happens. She passes. Carol Danvers gets like taken by the Kree, and there's like this explosion, and she gets infused with like this Kree amazing stuff, right? So then she
Kree blood. They put Kree blood in.
Yes. It's hard to explain. Anyway, so
her blood
like,
becomes blue.
the explosion like infuses her with like the power of like this core thing, right? I'm giving like the most basic, like quick just explanations. So she dies. So then when she realizes, she was like a Kree and she was dope and she was like super happy and her name was Marvel. So I think she was Marvel. So she's going to take the name at some point, Captain Marvel, because of Marvel. The whole movie, she was called like
Veers.
They're like, hey, Veers. Come on. And I was like, oh. So when there was an explosion, her dog tags got broken. And the one piece that they had was Dan Vers, was just the rest was gone. It was just the Vers. So like they would call her Veers. It was pretty cool. Actually, I like that. I like that a lot. So the Flurkin, what the Flurkin's going on?
Oh yeah, I love the
cat
Flurkin.
is a Flurkin. Everybody knows that. Who knows anything
lovers.
About Captain Marvel? You know the cat is a Flurkin. So I have issue with like how Fury's eye disappeared. I have so many issues.
I thought it was kind of funny. I thought it was kind of funny that he had seen how crazy that Flurkin.
And then he's just holding this Flurkin thing in front of his face.
Yeah, he just had it right in front of his face, like, oh, it's gonna be fine. And
so you're gonna see this cat, and he's like, he loves the cat, and the cat like swallows the Tesseract. It swallows like a bunch of dudes because it's like a monster and it has pocket dimensions inside of its stomach. Anyway, so towards the ass end of the movie, he's like, oh, kitty cat, and the cat scratches his eye. By the way, kind of a dick move. He's been super cool to you. He's been like really sweet. Everybody's like, that thing is disgusting.
Yeah, why would you do that? Yeah.
And like it scratches his eye. And then he's like, oh man, it's just a little scratch. And then Talos was like, no. Because he knows it's a Flurkin. So clearly there's gonna be some kind of like Flurkin.
What the Flurkin?
There's gonna be like some kind of like bacteria thing. So that's how Nick Fury loses his eye. Which is weird.
I think he dealt with it really well. Like he did radical acceptance. That was a great example of just radically accepting that this is the new reality. Like,
it was really weird because Nick Fury is like, I don't know. He was like super happy-go-lucky. He's like, hey guys, I'm Nick Fury. Yeah. Oh, Carol Danvers. Oh, you came out of the sky. I trust you now. You're my homie. Let's break into S.H.I.E.L.D. and hear all these secrets.
Well, they were using their intuition, right?
It's crazy that he became like, like the greatest super spy in the history of mankind after that, because he was just like this happy-go-lucky man. It's awesome having two eyes.
But do you think that it was after that he became the super spy, or it seemed like he had experiences
He did
before?
have experience, but there's a big difference in his character. Obviously, like it's years of experience, but he was a lot like Coulson. And Coulson had a cameo in the movie too, which is kind of cool. He was very like just wide-eyed and like, oh, hey, yeah. He wasn't the Samuel L. Jackson like Nick Fury, the greatest spy in the history of mankind, which he is now. But yeah, the cat thing, it was weird because when Winter Soldier is like, last time I trusted somebody, I lost an eye.
That was the Flurkin.
I was like, oh, this is gonna be like a dope ass origin story to you losing your eye.
Nope.
It was
the Flurkin.
It was all right.
And see, that's why you can't trust cats.
Yeah. Suck it, cats.
Yeah, cats.
Look,
I'm a dog person.
I know for a fact several of our fellow NeuroNerds out there that listen to the show are cat lovers. I love you guys. I can't say I love your furry animals. Cats are kind of pretentious.
No offense, but yeah, they're a little bit stuck up. They're
all
a
right,
little bit
absolutely offense. No. I did cats. I had an ex roommate and she had like cats, and I became a cat fan. I'm more of a dog person. Dogs are like, they're like homies. Cats are just like, I don't know. They like put their nose up at
you.
Yeah.
Well, I think that what was really interesting about this whole movie was watching somebody who clearly had a brain injury because she has memory loss, trying to put the pieces back together.
Yeah, that was cool.
And then when she realized what had happened and realized who she really was, her radical acceptance of her new normal. And we talk a lot about that, about accepting your new normal. Her new normal was being a badass superhero, so that's kind of cool. But she also had to let go of a lot of things that she had before. You know what I mean? Like she had that great friendship with her best friend and her best friend's daughter.
Oh, the future photon.
Yeah, that like
look her up. She's super dope.
Yeah, and so like it was nice that she got to reconnect with that, but she also knew that she couldn't really go back to that life. She was a new person.
She's evolved.
She evolved.
Oh man, just like us stroke survivors.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're killing it.
Exactly. You know, like it's kind of like, you know, and this happens with a lot of superheroes. They go through something traumatic and it creates who they are. And so it's almost like that trauma, you have to appreciate and love that trauma for what it is because it makes you who you are today. And so even though it sucks to have a stroke or to have any sort of brain injury, have a brain lesion like Captain Marvel, it made her a hero. It made her who she was. It's the hero's journey, you know, going through that struggle and overcoming and coming out the other side and accepting your new normal.
And no matter how many times she fell, she got right back up. So what's awesome about Captain Marvel is that she's Marvel's Superman.
Yes.
She is.
Suck it, Superman. No, I'm just kidding.
She is ultra powerful. Like
Yes.
there's like a scene or two in the movie where like the dopest scene in any of the Marvel movies so far is like when Thor has like Stormbreaker and he shows up in Infinity War and she's like, "Give me Thanos!" And like he just like dominates the entire field. It's like, oh my God, Thor is like he is all powerful. No, Captain Marvel is all powerful.
Yes.
Like when she figures it out, it's like, oh man, and you're still really new to this stuff. Just wait till like you figure it out. Oh my gosh, she's gonna punch Thanos in the face. So it's really cool because you know little girls now have somebody to
look up to. Yes, I love that.
A superhero, not just all right. Well, I could be Black Widow and I could be like you know a super spy and pretend I'm good but I'm really bad, and pretend I'm bad because I'm really good. That's cool. You know, I could be like Scarlet Witch who is like kind of cool with a really really bad accent and then like no accent at all for no reason.
And then all of a sudden no accent.
So I mean like those are cool, but this is it. Like you could be Scarlet Witch, you could be Black Widow, but I would rather be Thor. I'd rather be Iron Man. I'd rather be Captain America. You know what I mean? Like those are just like kind of, to be honest, doper characters. Captain Marvel's super dope. If I was like a little dude, I would totally want to be Captain Marvel. Her power set.
I mean, she was
is awesome,
ultra powerful, and I love that
when she goes full binary. Oh shit!
Yeah, I love that she had the whole focus thing, kind of like the Hulk. Like she had to focus her mind and focus her emotions. And what's his name again? The Jude Law's character.
Oh, Jan Rog.
Jan Rog kept trying to hold her down. Basically, kept kind of putting down using her emotions. And really, they were tricking her because they had an inhibitor on her that was keeping her from tapping into her full power.
Yeah, he's like, hey, you're a woman. You're over emotional.
Yeah,
calm that down.
But really, it was like, no, you just don't calm down. Focus it.
Yeah.
And then you can be ultra powerful.
Man,
and
she was.
And I loved Ronan the Accuser when he was like, we'll come back for the weapon.
Yeah, we'll come back for the weapon.
Yeah, like that was like.
And they're like, yeah, but we have to. He's like, I was talking about her.
Yeah, because it's like, she was like unstoppable. And I really felt that feeling of like, wow, I wish that Superman, it could have been like this. Like the new Superman, that's no longer the new Superman. Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, I wish that Man of Steel could have been like, okay, yes, this is ultra powerful. Like, he's unstoppable. Like, I felt like he was kind of stoppable. He was unstoppable. He was always like, you know, and his emotions kind of held him back. But she was like, no, I'm going to focus my emotions. I'm going to kick some ass. And like, nobody can stop me. Like, nobody.
There's a scene with like the Dark Aster. Well, it's not the Dark Aster, just like the ship, like the one of the Dark Aster type ships. She just runs right through it like it's made of aluminum foil. Oh man. Like, all right. So it was really, really cool. After credit scenes, super dope. We now know what the pager is for.
Yes.
Like that
well,
was just.
We did know, right?
We knew it was Captain Marvel, but like now, like what are they doing? What are the Avengers? Did they find it? What are they doing with it? Oh, we know that now.
Yeah.
And then like the after credit scene with that Flurkin cat, like vomiting up the Tesseract. That was cool.
You're like, okay, that's how they got it.
Yeah. It was. So overall, I give the movie, Felice is giving it a much higher rating. I'm not hating on it at all. I'm giving it a solid, a very, very strong 8.
I give it a 9.
I give it like, I would be comfortable saying 8.5. I'd be very comfortable saying that. I absolutely wouldn't go any lower than 8. If I went 7.5, I'd be like, no. It was a really, really good movie. But it wasn't, to me, it wasn't a 9. It absolutely wasn't a perfect movie. It was a really solid origin story. Is a completely different origin story than we've seen so far for Marvel's most powerful hero. Like, it was really cool. Like, there was something about it that I just, I couldn't classify. It was like a 90s throwback movie, I guess, because it did feel like a 90s action movie. But, like, like, the Avengers movies are a spectacle. You know that the Guardians is an outer space ragtag group. You know, Ant-Man was a heist movie. You know, Winter Soldier Winter Soldier was a political thriller.
Yeah.
Like every movie kind of like has their thing. This movie, I don't really know how to classify it.
It could have been a little more buddy cop.
Bad boys, what you gonna do?
Like they could have done a little more buddy cop.
That's the
between
thing.
her
Was it a buddy cop?
It was
movie?
a little bit that. I feel like they did a good job of like bringing in some of the 90s elements.
They touched on 90s perfectly. Like we got to see
so
a Blockbuster,
good.
which was really cool.
Yeah.
They were like on payphones.
Yep. Using pagers.
The music was spot on.
And it was, and not just the licensed music that they had in their like 90s pop music, the actual scoring of the movie was very 90s. Like just, it felt very 90s, which was very cool. I thought that was cool. And even like the way some of it was shot, like when they were flying into the canyons, kind of felt like Men in Black. You know, the first Men in Black. That's the only one that counts. So I really enjoyed that. I think I give it a 9 because I like the way that they brought her character in. I liked that they showed like she gets back up, like she may fall, but she gets back. I really liked that. I felt that it was really good backstory character development. I felt like they did the backstory quick, just like you would see in a cartoon animated version of a comic book movie. You know, I feel like a lot of times comic book movies, live action, they take too long and they draw it out and it's like 2 hours, 2.5, 3 hours. You're watching a movie. This was like boom, boom, boom. I forgot how long it was, but it felt like it was action packed. It went right into the action and you knew her whole story. Even if you didn't know, I think I'm a little bit, you know, I knew her story already, but I think that somebody going into it who's never heard about Captain Marvel would understand the story.
Like if you know nothing, I think that's what they're doing because she's not an obscure character, but she's more obscure than like, you know,
to the general
Captain
public.
America.
Yeah.
Or the Hulk. Everybody knows, gamma radiation. Captain, he's a man from time.
And
Lost in Time.
And this makes me really excited to see how they're going to bring in phase 4, right? We're in phase 4.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me excited to see how they're going to bring in.
We'll be in phase 4 after, I think,
Endgame. So this is kind of setting us for late phase 4.
Oh, setting up for, again, my theory, the fantastic phase 4. Boom!
And the X generation.
No.
X phase 4.
You tried something.
Phase X.
I get it.
Phase
I get
X.
it.
Okay, I really think they're going to start bringing in X-Men as well in phase 4. And I think seeing this makes me super excited to see how they introduce these other characters that have never been in the MCU. Yes, they've done X-Men movies. Yes, they've done Fantastic Four movies. We're not talking about those movies. We're talking about MCU, official.
They've made Spider-Man movies.
The club. What?
They've made Spider-Man movies, but Marvel made first Spider-Man.
That's a great example of like the difference between a Spider-Man movie and an MCU sanctioned.
Even one of the greatest superhero movies of all time, if not the greatest, it's not, but like it's arguable. Spider-Man 2. It was perfect, but I still have I have holes. There's holes in it for me because of like certain things, Yeah. Marvel will fill in those gaps.
Yeah.
It'll all the little things that I don't like. They're gonna make it happen because they're Marvel, and in Marvel we trust.
Yes, we do. I can't wait to see how they approach Fantastic Four and the X-Men. So.
Fantastic phase 4.
Fantastic phase 4. Yes.
Now the only question is like, what villain are they going to go with? Are they going to go with Annihilus? Are they going to go with Kang the Conqueror? Are they going to go with Galactus? They'll go Galactus at some point. But are they going to start out with him? I don't know.
And how are they going to portray that?
Are they going to bring in Adam Warlock? Is he going to like have his own thing? Are they going to do the dual personality Adam Warlock where there's mages and like he's the bad dude and he's like super villain? What's going on?
There's so many possibilities.
Is Quasar coming?
It's endless.
See? There's so many questions.
And we will get answers very soon.
No, I want them now.
So we will definitely have a predictions episode coming up about Endgame. And we will also have an episode after Endgame. So look out for those coming up soon. So thank you guys so much for listening. We appreciate you guys supporting us. If you've been enjoying these episodes, please go over to iTunes and, give us a review.
Yeah, give us a rating, give us a review. We really appreciate it. It's very, very helpful to us in reaching other people. And that's what we really, really want to do. We want to reach every nerd out there. We want to reach every person with a neurological issue. We want to reach all the NeuroNerds out there, because as always, the NeuroNerds, we're here to help.
Yes, yes, yes.
And the NeuroNerd adjacent, which is sitting right across from me, staring at me strangely.
We also want to thank our sponsor, Avid, for providing us with the tools, the Pro Tools.
Oh, shit. I see what you did there. Yeah,
to make
thanks,
us
Avid.
sound amazing in every single episode.
I'm an avid fan of Avid. See what I did there?
Yes. We also want to thank our Patreon supporters.
Oh, man, we love you guys. Seriously, like, I can't explain how much I appreciate you guys. Like, I really, really do. And we can't do the show without you guys. As part of our hashtag, the NeuroNerds Give Back, we always donate a portion of our Patreon proceeds to an individual or a cause. And this month's cause is...
Well, it is Brain Injury Awareness Month, March. So we are donating a portion of the proceeds to Brain Injury Association of America.
Boom! It was just International Women's Day, and Captain Marvel came out. I'm sitting across from one of the most incredible individual women in the history of womankind.
Oh, my.
See, not mankind, womankind,
Thank
because
you.
it was International Women's Day. See?
Yes. See how you did that? I see
Yeah.
what you did
There's
there.
also a magazine called Women's Day.
Is there?
Yeah, there is. And there's not a magazine called Men's Day. There's Men's Health, but who really cares about that? This is an entire day for women.
Women. And you know, Captain Marvel came out on International Women's Day.
Yeah.
I don't think that was a mistake.
Also, I don't know if you guys know this or not. There's an International Man's Day.
Is there?
Yeah, it's like November 9th, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys really need that one?
Yeah. We're going to sit in our drawers, drink beer, and watch sports.
Sounds really cool.
It is.
Cool story, bro. All right.
Oh my God, that was the most Lauren you've ever been.
You know, I'm trying to channel my Lauren right now.
So reach out to us, the NeuroNerds, at everywhere. Reach out to me at Joe So Rocks everywhere. Reach out to Lauren at Lauren L. Manzano everywhere. Not everywhere.
On Instagram.
Mostly Instagram. You know, we're grammars.
I'm also
reach
at
out to
Felice
Felice.
LaZae everywhere.
Our production department, our editing department, our marketing department.
I'm a multi-talented person.
She is. She's a Renaissance woman as well. Lauren will be back soon, kicking me, yelling at me, threatening me. So I kind of get the same things from Felice, just not really. I just get it in a look.
That I'm giving you.
Yeah, she's giving me that look like I'm gonna kick you in the face. And that would be dangerous because she has really big feet.
Hello, I'm also a black belt in Taekwondo.
She is. You know, she doesn't kick me in the knee nearly as much as Lauren. I guess you guys scare me equally as much, you know?
I would think that I scare you possibly more.
Probably because you
I can see you while you're sleeping.
Yeah. Like we sleep in the same bed, so like you could murder me easily in my sleep. I think Lauren could too, but she would have to it'd be more of a process.
She'd have to sneak in.
She had to break in the house.
And be
She had to sneak in. She had to make sure that she doesn't wake you. You know, she has to make sure that Stella isn't going to attack her because she's like my vicious guard dog who would immediately submit.
She wouldn't do.
Yeah, but definitely if it came down to murdering me in my sleep, I fear you definitely more.
Well, we digress.
we just
With
went
all
somewhere.
that said,
On that note, as always, the NeuroNerds are here to help. And on that note, these NeuroNerds are
out.